I apologize, I'm a bit late.
Yeah, hi Sui. Good
Really sorry
afternoon.
about that. Yeah. So okay, let's kick start then. Neha, do you mind switch on your camera and then we can just yeah kick start this a little bit. Do you mind just introduce yourself a little bit on the project that you've done and then we kick start from there? Yeah. So basically, you are building an API layer, is it, for your existing project where it sort of like act as the back end for front end. Is that what you are doing?
So, in my project, we are using for here. Sun Life project, we are using synchronous communication. So we are using
Mm-hmm.
REST template, but in a TCS organization, we are using the Kafka for asynchronous communication. So firstly, I describe the synchronous communication. Like you have two microservice, like multiple microservices. So one microservice is sent to the request to another one. So it is like waiting for the response. So that is synchronous communication. So first is send to the response, like we are using for a REST template, web template, and fin client. So in my project we are using REST template for that. And we are in configuration class we have to auto wire the REST template, and then in service layer we are auto wire this REST template inside the service class. After that we have we have to pass the URL. Like we are using, if you are using get service, sorry, API, so we are using get for object. If you are using post, so we are using for post for object, and we have passed the URL. And if you are using waiting for the response of service B, for
Mm-hmm.
a service C, so we are passing response of service B to service
Mm-hmm.
C. So that is
Mm-hmm.
synchronous communication. And
Mm-hmm.
about of the asynchronous communication, so we can say we are using asynchronous Kafka. So like if you have many microservices, so it is not waiting for the response. If you want to communicate to microservices, so between inside two microservices, that is broker. So inside the broker there is multiple topics, and inside the topics there are multiple partitions. It's divided multiple partitions, and inside the partitions we have it is following the order like parallel. So we have passed the offsets, like it is a unique, we can say unique key. So like if you send it is publish any request, client send to the request, so
Mm-hmm.
firstly it's come to the message broker. So inside the
Mm-hmm.
message broker, it is present like topics. So consumer consume this a request, so we it is using the offsets to consume this request. So we can use asynchronous for that, and we can use dependency like at the rate Kafka for that. And in the if you are using as a publisher, so we are using Kafka template. And if you are using as a consumer, so we are using at the rate Kafka listener. And in application property we are configure some details, if you are a bootstrap server, so that is a broker server. And we are passing serialization producer details. And because when you publish the request, so it is not write as a Java language, so it is convert in a byte. So we are using serialization. And for a consumer we are using deserialization, and we have passed the group ID for that. So that is.
Sorry, I'm still a bit maybe a bit lost. So how does your BFF and your Kafka come into picture? Like for example, you mentioned that you built a BFF layer, right?
No, no, no.
Is it
BFF is not asynchronous communication. It is behave like a
okay?
synchronous communication. So it is
Okay.
make a request. If you a maker send a request, so it is
Mm-hmm.
validate the request, and it is check the
Mm,
AD groups. So some AD groups there is present.
mm,
If AD
mm.
groups request is permission to AD groups, so it is sent to the request to AML service.
Okay, so basically it's basically just an API layer that integrate with the when I say AD, I assume is the identity services
Yes,
that's contain all the username password, right?
yes,
Authenticate it came back and then you route the call to the backend services.
yes, yes.
So first my first question is that from your BFF to your backend services, how does that work? Do you use REST API as well or you use Kafka to do
So
communication
we
between your
are
BFF
also.
layer and your backend services?
So in like AML module, I have used synchronous communication, HTTP calls for that. So we are using REST template for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so that means that if someone make a call to your BFF layer, and then your BFF layer will then route the call to another REST API on the back end.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you describe to me any challenges so far you face? Like for example, how do you handle timeout? What if the person that you call a timeout? What if there
So
is some network issue? How do you handle those?
okay. So in AML
Mm,
module, like it is a different microservices. If you talk about the other microservice, so like there is a multiple microservice, but I worked on a one module, that is AML module. So it is BFF is a part of a AML module. It is not a like different microservice, we can say.
mm-hmm,
So there is a multiple microservice like fund, rebate, and IAMPF, but I didn't work on that like on all that modules. Only worked for a AML module. So like if you communicate these microservices, so that is one microservice, file download service. So it is
mm-hmm,
like accept the query, and it is fetch
mm-hmm.
the data, and then it is like bulk upload it, share to the S3 bucket, and after that it is like notify the email via user, so we can download the file by using the S3 bucket.
Okay. But sorry, I feel because
Sorry.
your BFF service will need to communicate with other services, right? I mean, that is the logic of that service itself, right?
So
So,
yeah.
you, so let's say for example, once somebody call your BFF layer, right, and then you get the request, and then you need to route your request to another API. Let's say suddenly the API just went down, right? Then how do you handle those?
Okay. So if
Yeah,
one microservice, like you have multiple microservice, you can say like
yeah, yeah.
BFF is communicate between other microservices. If one microservice is down, so in that case we are using circuit breaker. Like circuit breaker is like that point, if your microservice is like down, so it is prevent the like failure, stop the that point, it is not affect to the another microservice. So that case we are using the circuit breaker, so we can add the dependency for that resilience for 4j for that. And in the main class we have enabled the circuit breaker, and we have passed the fallback, and then we have passed the class name inside that. So in this case we are using like circuit breaker.
And what kind of response do you go back to the caller?
So return like service temporarily time, like we have passed the message for that,
Mm,
like service
mm,
temporarily down for that. So in that case like open, there are multiple types of a circuit breaker, we can say, like open, close, and half open. If it is close, so that case means if client is sent to the request in any services, so it is goes back to the return to this client, means everything is working properly. But it is open, so it means your like your microservice is down, something is wrong between your microservice. So in that case we are using like open.
okay, no problem. Then can you explain to me how does the Kafka thing comes in again? Um,
Kafka.
the one okay, so you have one BFF layer that's for synchronous communication. Then you also have another layer that's basically for asynchronous communication. So that one you're using Kafka to implement it. So what you're saying is that the caller of your
Okay.
module
Okay.
are actually dumping message to the Kafka itself directly. Is that how that works?
Okay. So firstly, if you BFF as a working as a asynchronous communication, so
Mm, mm,
first your service is produce one event, like it
mm,
event sent to the any topic. So consumer
mm,
is consume that topic. So we are using
mm,
Kafka listener for that.
mm,
If any service is behave like as a consumer and publisher both, so it is
mm.
using Kafka template, because you are using as a like publisher. But if it is using as a consumer, so it is using at the rate Kafka listener. So we can pass that like topic name inside the Kafka listener, and we are also passing the group ID.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you the one who also building the consumer of the Kafka? Because there is a producer, right? I mean that your client calling your Kafka is the producer. They produce the message into your Kafka topic.
So yeah,
Then
we
how are you also you must have built some consumer on the Kafka side to receive something, right? Or you just set up the Kafka cluster. Sorry, just want to understand the type of work that you are involved in.
so like in that case, if your microservices failed in asynchronous way, so we are using Saga pattern for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because Saga pattern, publisher is sent to the like event, and consumer is
Mm,
accept that event, and it behave like it is complete their task, and it is send the event for other service. If any microservice is failed, so it is behave like it is rollback, we can say. So we
mm.
can use Saga pattern for that.
No, sorry. Perhaps to understand is that which part of the Kafka part are you involved in? Like the feature that you built. Probably that's something that I'm more interested in. Like
Yeah, okay. So
you what you mentioned is the Kafka server, right? You have the topic, right? You have the consumer, you have the producer, right? So I assume the producer is the caller, and then I assume that you are building an application to consume things from the Kafka topic. So what are you building
okay,
on the
so I
yeah
explain. Firstly, you have one
yeah
cluster. Okay, inside the
okay
cluster there are multiple brokers. So inside the
yeah
brokers, multiple topics. So topics,
okay
inside the topics, so they like it is divided into the multiple partitions. So
right
partitions
right
like behave like a parallel, like it is a ordering. So like you have three like partitions, partition 1, 2, and 3. So there is a offsets like one is order 1, and the second is order 2, or third one is order 3. When consumer group is consumed that topic, sorry, that message, so it is like come to the that partitions, but one consumer only consume only one offset. Like in the consumer group there is a multiple consumers, so only one consumer is like consume that one offset ID. So it is behave like it is not a duplicate. What you can I say, like it's not like present a duplicate values, like duplicate messages. So in that case we are using like unique key in that case, and enable like item to tend to I don't like remember that name, like enable in that both conditions, like producer and consumer.
okay, no problem. Okay, maybe one final question I have before I jump to the next one challenge is that can you describe to me what is the most challenging things you have encountered so far throughout your career,
So
technically,
okay, okay.
and what is the solution to it?
Okay, so in my projects, so there is a two files like report generation and report extraction. So there is a very heavy task. So in that case, my system would be very slow, and user would be very taking to time. So in that case, we are using asynchronous processing. So in that case, we are using executor, asynchronous processing for we are using executor. So benefit for that, so like multiple task like system handle the multiple task, and it doesn't be like effect to the each other, and not block to my main method, we can say. So in that case we have creating two executor files, like one for report generation and one for report extraction. So in that case we have to like firstly we have to create one configuration class, and inside the configuration class we have passed that name, and we have used enable async, because it is behave like a completable future, like for background purpose we can use like for that. So we have passed we have like set the core pool and max pool, and we can use capacity, and also we are using like a prefix. So the main purpose of a prefix, so it is using for debugging, we can easily debugging the name of this prefix. And we can also created the executor class. So inside the executor class we have passed this configuration bean name, and using at the rate async, and we have performed the completable feature in that case. So benefit is like that. So it is improve the performance, and system not wait to for that. And also I'm using pagination, uh, and also redis to reduce the db load. So that all are things we are using in our project.
Okay, sure. Okay, okay. I have one quick challenge question for you. Do you mind share a screen, right? And then work out a function that does what I described in the chat.
Sorry, I didn't understand. Can you repeat?
No, I paste a question on the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, do you mind share a screen,
Okay.
right? Can you come up with a Java function that does what I described inside the chat? Yeah, don't use ChatGPT. Just
So
figure
can I
out
use
how do
chat
you.
gpt?
No, no, no. You shouldn't use ChatGPT. That's
Okay.
the only thing.
Okay.
Yeah, just on the click on the chat. Yeah, click on the chat. On the, you see
uh
there's a red color.
which one?
Yeah, click
Okay,
on the
okay,
chat.
this one.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
chat, right? You see there's
I'm
a
not able to
question.
click.
Yeah, you just click. You just click. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You see.
I think
Oh,
it's not working.
it just pop
Okay.
up. Okay. Yeah, yeah. It pop up now. Okay. Just go to the right hand side,
Okay,
right?
give five
Uh, um, you see
positive.
that question? Yeah. Use your favorite IDE. Can you come up with a Java
Okay,
function that
IntelliJ.
does the
I'm using IntelliJ.
anything will do, man. Make sure it's compilable, right? Make sure it's runnable. Okay.
Okay.
You want me to explain what it does?
Okay.
So basically, the input is an array of
Okay.
5 digit, 15397. Right. Your job is to come up with a function that calculate the minimum and the maximum. How do I come up with 16? Is that because I add 1 plus 5 plus 3 plus 7? How do I come with maximum? Because I add 5 plus 3 plus 9 plus 7. That's how it works.
Okay.
But you need to come up with the algorithm to do that.
Five positive integer, find the maximum value that can be given. So okay, so long to total sum. Mm. Can I use a stream API for this?
Yeah, anything will do, man.
Okay.
As long as it's Java.
Okay. Hello, it's visible.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, so it is showing 16 and 24. So min sum is 16 and max value is 24.
Okay, that's interesting. So you do a stream with the sum, and then the mean value, you get the mean, and then do a comparison. Get it? And then, okay, that's interesting logic. How about if you change the value something else like array as list to say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
Array 6, 7. Can I change the
Uh,
input?
the input to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Input 6, 7, let's 8, 9, 10. Can I run?
Like 6, 7. You just change array dot as list, then bracket 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just use
Okay.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
So,
So
and the value is
minimum value is 30 and max is 34.
okay. Okay, interesting. Okay, okay. So the mean will be 30. The max will be 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10. Okay, interesting. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Kind of like your solutions. Initially I was thinking that you use a sorting mechanism to do the left and right, but yeah, I think that this one will work as well. Okay, cool. No question from my side. Okay, I'm good. So, any question from your side before
Yeah, hi.
we
So
close the call?
if I select it, so what is the roles and responsibility in this project?
Okay. I need to be transparent. This role is only just lasted for a year. Okay. The what was going on is that because that BoltTech is basically embedded insurance company, right? We have many legacy systems, right? I
Okay.
think one of the legacy system that we probably still need to maintain for the next 1 year is
Okay.
basically a policy admin engine that's written in Java in Spring Boot. The issue we have because that
So
we are
like
actually building a new platform.
migration type of work.
It is not migration type of work. It's more
Okay.
like maintaining it to support new partner until
Okay.
it get phased out.
Okay.
So the we probably just need it for 1 more year, just to be transparent with you. And basically, it's not a greenfield project; it's a brownfield project.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not sure whether it's something you're interested in. But if yes, so what will happen next is that I will send you another assignment. Right. You just take yourself 1 week to complete it. Once you send it over, I'll get one of the engineer to review together with you, and then and that should be the final round. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Sure.
Any other questions before we close this call or?
No. No way. No.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks a lot. It's an interesting solution that you give
Thank you.
compared to others. So I'll send you the assignment. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye
All
bye.
right. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Mm.